Hello, I am the Story Girl, and welcome to the story of the Little Green Man. Once there was a soldier. Of course there was. Now this soldier had worked many years fighting in the wars for the king that he served, but the wars ended, and this king turned out to be very nasty indeed. Well, I don't have any more work for you, and I only pay those people who are working for me, said the king to the soldier. So off you go. Don't have anything better to do with you. The soldier didn't know what the king was talking about. The king hadn't paid him a cent even when he had worked for him. With a heavy heart, he began the very long road back to the house that he had shared with his parents in a village very far away. He had just started his journey walking through a forest when he became hungry and tired and weary. He was in a forest and there wasn't anybody around, but he did see a house in the distance, a little cottage. He walked up to it and knocked on the door. The door creaked open and out peered a little old woman. "What can I do for you, sonny?" said she. "Please, ma'am," said the soldier. "I've been walking all day, terribly hungry, and I'm terribly tired. Could I perhaps spend the night at your house? And if there is any extra food, would you be so kind as to bestow it on the poor soldier?" "Well, I won't give it to you for nothing," said the old woman, who lifted up her hand like a claw. "I will need something in return." "Yes, ma'am, I can do any work. I'm very strong." "Very well. You may stay for the night." Well, the soldier went in, saw that it was a cottage just like any other, and he rested that night. In the morning, the old crone shook him awake. "Oh, I need someone to dig up my garden, sonny, and you said—" "Yes, ma'am, of course." He picked up her shovel and spent the entire day digging up her entire garden so that the soil was rich and black and ready to be planted. But it was such hard work that he was exhausted and couldn't go on with his journey. "Well, if you stay another night, sonny, I will have you do another work for me," said the old woman. "Of course, ma'am." And so the next day he chopped up enough wood and stacked it next to her house so she wouldn't need any more wood chopped for many a week. But he was so tired he had to stay another night. "Tomorrow I will need you to go down into my well." "Go down into your well?" said the soldier. "Yes, I will need you to go down into my well and fetch something for me. Nothing much, just a trifle. I dropped it down there, but I am so old and weak I couldn't go and get it. You will get it for me, won't you, sonny?" "Yes, ma'am, of course." The soldier was relieved. Sounded like this job wouldn't be too hard, and he'd finally be able to get back on his journey and stop bothering the old woman. What he didn't know was this woman was a witch who was well practiced in magical arts. The next morning he woke up and she led him off into the forest where there stood a well, a great large hole in the ground surrounded by a fence so that nothing could get in, and the woman carefully lowered him down. "What you're looking for," she called down as she lowered, "is my hat." "Your hat?" said the soldier. "Yes, my hat. I dropped it down there. and I'd very much like to have it back. You'll find it down there. It's green. Probably the only hat down there. Maybe. Hat, thought the soldier as he was lowered and lowered and lowered into the well. He finally reached the bottom of the well. He took out a match and lit it, looked around. There on the ground was a green hat. Funny hat. Why did they come all the way down here for a hat? Couldn't she have gone to the village and bought a new hat? Do you see it, Sonny? Do you find the hat? Yes! He blew out his match, picked up the hat, and tugged on the rope so she could pull him back up. She pulled and pulled and pulled, and just as he got to the top, she held out her claw hand and said, "Hand me the hat now, dear." But the soldier wasn't born yesterday. "I'll hand you the hat when my feet are back on the ground," said he. "Oh, you!" And she let go of the rope, and he fell crashing to the ground. Good luck for him, he was not hurt, and the witch was having a little screaming fit, and then walked away. "What am I to do now?" thought the soldier. "Down here in this well, and that old woman, witch, isn't going to pull me back up. At least I have a new hat. Might as well put it on. I'm going to starve to death down here anyway." And he put on the witch's hat. Fit him perfectly, perfect and snug around the ears, but he didn't notice this because the moment he had put on the hat, a little green man stepped out of the darkness. "Wow!" said the soldier. He took off the hat, and the little green man disappeared into the darkness. Put the hat back on, and the little green man stepped into the light. "At your service, my master," said the little green man. "Me?" said the soldier. "Yes, you have the hat. You command me." "Well, I've never commanded anybody before. I'm usually used to being commanded. I was a soldier. Say, do you know the way out of here?" "Yes, master, I do," said the little green man, and he took the soldier by the hand and led him through the deep cavernous tunnels that had made up the well's spring of water before it dried up, led him along and along the passage. As they walked along, they came by enormous piles of gold. This gold belonged to the witch. The soldier picked up as much as he could and stuffed it into his pockets, and continued to be led through the tunnels until they came out into the self-same woods that the witch lived in. "If you ever need me, master," said the little green man, "all you have to do is put on the hat, and I will come." "Oh, could you do something for me then?" "You're wearing the hat, master. Of course I could." "Oh, I forgot. Go and get that witch and bind her hand and foot and take her away to the judges. She's been very wicked to me." "Yes, master," said the little green man, and a moment later he heard a raucous screaming and crying as the witch, whose hands and feet were tied to her own broomstick, flew through the forest. The little green man stepped out of the forest. "The judges will give her what she deserves. I will make sure of it." "Oh, thank you kindly. You say that if I ever need anything from you, all I have to do is put on this hat?" "Yes, master." "Fine. Well, that's fine. That's anything I can do for you." The green man just stared at him. "No one's ever asked me that. Are you feeling all right?" "Oh, yes, it's just that I always feel like when somebody helps me out, I'd like to help them out." I am just a little green man. I don't have any needs. Well, that's all right then. Well, I'll see you next time then, said the soldier, and he took off the hat, and the little green man disappeared. Well, the soldier had some ideas about what he would like this little green man to do, so he set off walking, not in the direction he was going before, but back to the kingdom, back to the city where lived the nasty king who had refused his wages. I'll get back at that king, thought the soldier. I know what I'll do. The soldier went into town to the most fancy inn he could find and used the witch's gold to pay for the most beautiful, expensive room, the largest set of rooms in the inn, and he paid the tailors of the town to make him a very fine new coat, and for the cobbler to make him boots that fit just his feet. Well, he was feeling very fine indeed, but he wasn't here only to enjoy himself. A few nights later, he took out the hat and put it on his head. And out stepped the little green man. Yes, master, said the little green man. Good to see you. It's getting a bit lonely. Could you do something for me? You're wearing the hat, said the little green man. Of course I can do something for you. Well, good. I would like to get back at that king who didn't give me my wages. But I don't want to hurt him. Just rough him up a little bit. Oh, I can do that, said the little green man. Oh, no, not hurt him. Could you bring the princess here? The princess? Yes. I'll have her do some chores around my room, clean it up a bit, polish my boots, things like that. That'll be a punishment for that king. I don't understand how. Well, it'll work out somehow, said the soldier. So, that night, the little green man snuck into the princess's rooms just as she had fallen asleep and touched her forehead. Her eyes opened halfway. He picked her up in his arms and flew her off to the soldier, setting her down in the soldier's rooms. Here is the princess, master, said the little green man. Good, said the soldier. There you are, girl. Sweep up this room. It's getting all dusty. Well, the princess moved like a dreamer, with her eyes half open, half closed, but she did all the work that the soldier had her do, dusting and polishing and mopping, until the time came for the little green man to pick her up and fly her back to her own bed. The next morning, when the princess awoke, she went into breakfast. Papa, said she, I had such a strange dream. I dreamed that a little green man came and took me to the rooms of a soldier, a common soldier, and I worked as a maid for him all night. It was just a dream, but I feel so tired and achy today, as though I actually did the work. Said the king, her father. Very strange indeed. We'll see if it happens again tonight, my darling. Here's what I want you to do. Well, the little green man had been listening in to the king and the princess's plan, and he made a plan of his own. That night he came and tapped the princess on the forehead, lifted her out of her bed, and flew her to the rooms of the soldier. But the princess's pockets were filled up with dried peas, and in each pocket was a tiny hole big enough for just one pea to fall out at a time. And as they flew along, the trail of peas dropped out onto the road, showing a perfect trail from the castle to the room where the soldier was waiting. "There you are, girl! Brush out my clothes, mend this tunic, polish my boots," said the soldier, and the princess did it. And when the time came, the little green man flew her back, making a second trail of peas that went from the soldier's rooms all the way back to the castle. The next day, the princess woke and said, "Papa, I had the same strange dream, but I did fill my pockets with peas like you asked." "Good," said the king, and he had his guards go out and follow the trail of peas. The guards burst out of the castle, but they didn't see a trail of peas. What they saw was a street filled with peas. "It must have been raining peas," said one man as he dashed out into the street and began scooping the peas into a basket. And it was true. The little green man, knowing that the princess had pockets full of peas, had spent the night strewing the entire street full of peas and making the trail impossible to follow. Said the king. "Well, now at least we know that somebody has been taking you." "I have another idea," said he. Well, the little green man was listening in, but this time he was worried. The soldier put on his hat and told the little green man to bring the princess again. "Well, master," said the little green man, "you see, the king has a plan for the—" "Just bring the princess." The little green man had to do what his master said, so he went and scooped up the princess and flew her to the soldier, and the soldier bossed and ordered her around to do much hard work. But before the princess was taken away, she was very careful to hide her shoe in a secret place under the soldier's bed. The little green man couldn't do a thing about it because, you see, the shoes that the princess wore were made just for her, and no others had ever been made like it. The next day, the king sent his guards to search every single inn in every part of his kingdom until they found the princess's shoe hidden in a secret place underneath the soldier's bed. "You!" said the king when the soldier was dragged before him. "You have been taking my daughter. I will take your life. Throw him in the dungeons!" roared the king, and the soldier was thrown in the dungeons, but unfortunately, he'd been grabbed so fast he wasn't able to take any money or his hat. He knew that the judges were planning something wicked for him. He peered out of the little window at the top of the dungeon and saw walking by were some of his old comrades, some men he had been quite good friends with. "Psst, psst, Harry, Pete," said the soldier. Two other soldiers came and looked down. "Oh, it's you," they said. "Yes. In my inn room you'll find a little bundle. If you bring it to me, I promise there will be gold for you." "Certainly, old man." So the two soldiers went to the inn, found the bundle, which had the hat in it, and brought it back to the soldier in the dungeon. Well, the soldier paid them handsomely and all the gold he had left. As soon as they had gone, he popped the hat on his head. "Master, sorry you are here." "It's all right," said the soldier. "Just make sure you're ready for tomorrow." "What do I have to do?" said the little green man, and they made their plans. The next day the soldier carried his hat over his heart as he was led to the gallows. You see, he had been given a trial, but he hadn't been given a chance to say a single word by the wicked judges. So he was being led to the gallows to be hung by the neck till he was dead. "Your Majesty," said the soldier to the king. "What?" said the king. "I only have one last request." "What would that be?" Could I please be hung with my hat on? With your hat? Yes, sire. I suppose so. So the soldier slipped on his hat, and the little green man appeared, holding a large club. Yes, master, what shall I do for you? Beat the judges black and blue for not giving me a fair trial, said the soldier, and the little man went to it with a will, beating every single judge and the king over the head and stamping them on their feet until the king cried out, "Ow! Ah! Oh! Oh! Call him off! Call him off! I'll give you anything! You can marry my daughter! You can have the kingdom!" Well, that was just what the soldier wanted to hear. And he called off the little green man, married the princess, and became the king. The end. I am the Story Girl, and I've always liked this story, though when I first heard it, you didn't have to wear a hat to get the green man to appear. You had to light your pipe with the blue light. But I was having some trouble visualizing a blue light. Was it as a little spark of fire? Is it like fairy light? So I decided to change it to a hat that calls forth a little leprechaun, because I had heard a story similar to that before. Have you ever had to change your story a bit so that it was something you could understand better? If not, you should try it. Remember, you are the main character of your story, even if you're not a soldier, like there are lots of main characters in fairy tales that are soldiers. Thank you for joining the story today. Bye!